Alright, welcome back to episode 36. Now, I made a little mistake. My audio was not recording, so that's why you kind of see a house, or not really a house, but a building there, kind of half built. Because I was recording that, but my voice wasn't being picked up. So, just for context, last time we worked on this wall down here, which will eventually continue down that way, down into the lake, which I'm planning to expand at some point. And we also added another one of these little cliffs right down here, which you can see. And I think this, I don't think, I know this terrain down here needs some work, and I think once we work on this terrain I'm standing on right here, it'll look a little better. This cliff will look a little better. But other than that, let me see. Oh yeah, all my stuff is diamond now because I lost it, and yeah, that's pretty much the story. I also made renewable shears because I was tired of it taking like 5 seconds to break wool. So now these kind of almost insta break the wool. Watch this. Close enough. It's a lot less annoying. So yeah, that's why I have those. That's not really important. Anyways, also, since last time, I made these roads, but I added some detailing with the grates here, and I kind of textured around the grates, which I'm pretty happy with, because if you're just kind of running along, it looks very natural, and like, you know, around the drains, kind of the dirt and muck starts to accumulate. So I like how that looks. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've done. I also added these street lamps, which I'm probably going to change the material of, because as I was building this, I noticed the bricks, the mud bricks here, really blend into this building too much, I think. Now, I mean, that could be changed when I add in the texturing, really, later on, but, so we'll kind of see on that. We'll wait. But yeah, I was just in the middle of kind of adding some windows in here. And the plan for the rest of today's episode is... Oh, I already had my rockets here. The plan for the rest of today's episode is to fill up this entire center square here, full of buildings. And hopefully we can get that done. Now, this first one is the one I'm going to work on like firsthand, and then we'll finish up the rest in a time lapse. Because I've been meaning to do another time lapse. Now, I don't actually know if there's a replay mod for this version, because I'm currently on the very newest version, 1.21.10. So I'm not sure if there's a replay version. So if there's not, we're gonna have to wait on that time-lapse, because I really want to do it through a time-lapse. I don't want to just be like, oh, boom, now I have all these buildings done. So we'll see how that plays out. And I have this spyglass because I wanted to zoom in here, because I can't zoom in with Optifine, because Optifine is also not out for the newer versions yet. But I was explaining, before I realized my audio wasn't recording, that I don't want to texture these city buildings. Oh my god. Get out of the way! I hate these guys. I don't want to texture the city buildings like I did here with just the random interspersed blocks, because I don't love doing it that way. At least like too much. I think in moderation it's good. Like, I've done it in the upper area of the storage room. I'll we'll come and show. I did it in here, but I think that really works because, I don't know, I just like it because it's multiple blocks instead of just the polished granite. It's also the bricks that are mixed in there into the granite. But I don't like it with only one block. It's alright, but it's not the best. So, with the city ones, I kind of want to do what I did here, just maybe a little better, and I will probably fix how I did this in the future, where you know, you kind of texture it like more of a gradient, like these walls. And you just do normal building walls with a kind of sort of gradient. In like places where you think would be a little more worn or mildewy, you might put like some darker blocks or grosser looking blocks. And it kind of makes the eyes kind of see that difference, even if it's weird blocks. Like, I've seen some really skilled builders just put dirt in their walls, and somehow it works. I'm not sure how, but it works. And that's what I kind of tried to do here. Like, you wouldn't think rooted dirt works as a paved road block, same as this wood here, which it doesn't entirely. And I'm very iffy on the jungle wood here. I'll probably remove it in the future. But I was just like, you know what? Let me just put some random blocks here. That might work. And the rooted dirt, I think, really does work. Yeah. Anyways, I also wanted... I really want there to be a variety between all of the different city buildings. And, you know, I might move this one over, just to make that a little less wide. Because I want these alleys between the buildings to be really thin. And this square section is going to be our smallest section. That's going to like continue that way. Yeah, I don't know why I made it this small, because there's not much room for buildings. Really. And, you know, maybe I made a mistake in making the buildings this sporadic, because I kind of want it to be more systematic, since it's like an actual planned out city. And obviously, I think I already talked about it, but this is going to kind of be the more older downtown-ish area, where we build in this style that's more medieval, rather than kind of the revolutionary style I'm going for here, maybe like 1800s-ish. This is gonna be the more medieval style, and it'll be all on this side of the road, and it'll continue kind of down this way. Maybe hop over the road, because obviously it's gonna be blocked by this, which we'll figure out what we're doing here later as well. But yeah, that's all very far in the future. Like, I plan too far ahead sometimes, I think. Although, planning too far ahead isn't really a thing, because if you plan enough, or because you just want to make sure you're always planning. Otherwise, you kind of get stuck and you build yourself into a corner, which is what I feel like I did here. And it took me a while to figure out how to go from there to make this all possible. Because this was just not working. But now that I've built it, I want to continue this style as well. So, you know, I had to do a lot of thinking for that. Anyways, enough talking. Let's add some windows. Now, with them being up this height, they're not really practical, which is what I was talking about. Again, right before I realized I was not recording my voice. They're not really practical because they're up too high, but I think they look better from the outside. Because if we put them down here, I just don't like that they're on the different block. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. So I'm putting them up like this, but I think I want them, well, that's not a good place for a window. I think I want them thinner, since they're up so high. Maybe we go like that. And we have something in the middle there. And then that. Yeah, that works. I like that. That's pretty good. And then we can maybe texture it on the outside to make this wall not look so boring. Or we'll put a nice little detail like, I don't know. A chimney, I guess, could work, but it might get rid of the walking pathway here. I feel like I should have put everything one block back, so there's 2 blocks between the lamps and the building. But I can't change it now. And I mean, 3 is how much I did over there. Maybe I move the lamp posts out 1 block. I feel like that would be a lot easier. And it would provide more room. But then it would mess with the grates. I don't know. And see, this is why no amount of planning is ever too much planning, because I've built myself into a corner again. Alright. So I'm just gonna spend some time going around adding some windows, and I'll get back when we're kind of ready to start on the roof, or, well, really the 2nd floor for most of these buildings, because, you know, they're gonna have like 2nd, maybe even 3rd floors on some of them. So we'll be back when we're at that point. Yeah. All right. So this is empty. Well, let's pick that back up. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I was gonna explain things, but honestly, I don't need to. Just look at that roof. It's not going the way I want things to go right now. I've been working around with this roof for a while, and I just can't figure out what I want to do with it. I am still working on the shape, and I think just getting things better formatted down on the ground here would help me a lot with the shape of the roof, which sounds weird, but I'll explain what I mean here. I want to do, obviously, some exterior detail on all of the buildings here, but this one for now, of course. And I can't really do that with the way things are right now, because I've put these street lamps right next to the buildings, basically. So, you know, I kind of want to put a fireplace on the inside of the inn, pub, whatever thing that we've got here. I suppose it's not really an inn, because no one's staying the night, but, you know, it's just a bar. Anyways, I want to put a chimney, which might go out like two blocks, maybe. I mean, that would be the largest I make it. It'll probably be something like that. But still, that kind of really obstructs the pathway here. And it's annoying to go around and all that. So I think we need to move this road here so that I can move the street lamps further out. And that'll make this area here, next to the wall, much smaller. And maybe a little easier to know, like, how to deal with it, like what to put in it. Maybe I just put 1 or 2 buildings. Maybe it's like kind of a plaza for the town. Who knows? And then that does mean removing this house, which I did spend an entire episode on, and then had to remake after the map fiasco, if you were a witness to that whole situation. But it just doesn't work. I don't think using the 2 differing styles is going to be good for what I want to do with this city here. So, yeah, we're gonna have to remove that. And then once I get this all removed, I can move the street here and give myself maybe like 4 or even 5 more blocks of space. I honestly may even remove like this whole thing completely, and maybe I just do it like, maybe I raise it up a block. Instead of like going down a full block, maybe these are all slabs. Who knows? That would make it harder for me to do the texturing here like I want to, but I mean, I would make it work, but there's just something about this street. It's like, I like doing the granite with the texturing here. I think it looks really nice. And I like the nice brownish gradient it has around the grates here. But I don't love how it's a block lower, to be honest. And I don't know. I will have to figure that out. I always say we, but it's not like people watching are helping me out, I guess. I mean, you could comment, but not many people comment. But that's besides the point. So yeah, that's my plan here, and I'll go and do all that off camera because that's boring and tedious. But hopefully it'll help me out and kind of set things up for success for the rest of the episode. So yeah, I'll be back when I've got kind of everything moved over, and sadly this house is no longer there. Because honestly, it's probably even good because I didn't know what I was gonna do with this thing, to be honest. I didn't like how the door was open to the outside, and like I could have changed that, but I don't know. I feel like I need to make buildings with more of a plan. Because even this one, kind of unplanned, and you can see it in how flat this side is. I mean, I think I'm planning to put a window there. Maybe. I have a window already there. It's just very odd. And I honestly, maybe I have to tear down the whole building. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I would be happy with. The only thing I'm really happy with is this arch right here. I like the shells. Is what I'm trying to say. The shells are very nice for like just a really good arch block, which honestly, it's crazy how long I've been searching for a nice block. 'Cause that like does what the shelf does here. 'Cause, you know, the trapdoors kind of do that, but not to the same degree. It just is another like, you know, level of thickness, because they're thicker than the trapdoors but still thinner than the stairs, and it's just very good for detailing. And as you can see, I've used them here too. But I may change around the inside too here. I just don't know. I'm not entirely satisfied with any portion of this building. And I don't really want to rest on it until I am. Also, ignore those blocks. We'll probably be talking about that next time. But for right now, those are just kind of there to give me a visual on something. But, like, I'm pretty happy with this platform down here. I mean, I feel like there could definitely maybe be more detail along this outer part, but I think that just comes with time and knowing where the lower levels are going to go, because I think there's going to be one more platform or like one more staircase that leads kind of to a dock area. And so once I have all that figured out, I'll kind of know maybe what else to put up as detail up on that first platform. But I'm very happy with how things went down there, and with this gradient and all that. And so I don't want to settle on this before I'm happy with it. So, yeah, we're gonna tear this down. That's gonna take a while, but we will get that done, and I will be back when that is done. Alright, once again, it's been a while since the last clip. I have been struggling with this build here. Sorry, it's pretty late. I'm kind of tired. So forgetting words again. That's usually what happens. I kind of tried to go a different direction with the building. I wasn't liking how it was looking with the mud. I think, yeah, I was using mud bricks. I didn't love it. This I also don't love. It looked better with shaders on, because I play off camera with shaders, but without them, the deep slate is actually far darker than it seems. And so it's kind of a very harsh gradient. And it also just isn't good. I don't know what I did here that made it work, but I like the gradient on this wall a lot more than I like this. I don't know. 6 blocks is very little to work with when you've got 3 blocks. Because I don't... Is that a wolf? It's annoying me. I need it to stop barking. It's interrupting me. I'm re-recording because I forgot to turn the shaders off, which I just prefer to when I'm recording. And he was interrupting me then too. I didn't even know I had dogs here. Yeah, it's a... You're annoying. Can you go away? You're loud. To be honest, I don't know what the point of them adding all the new sounds was. I don't feel like it was necessary, but you know, I'm not a developer, so it's interesting. I guess it does add more variety, but like, was anyone asking for more dog noises? I know I wasn't. Anyways, I'm not entirely happy with the foundation there, but I'm hoping that if I get started on the second floor to it and get some color, I was testing tough and other blocks there, but hopefully if I get started on the second floor and kind of get some color contrast there, maybe I will start to like things better. I think I'm just in a rut with things right now, which sucks because I was really doing well with building the wall and city foundation down there in the last 2 episodes, but I guess that was probably because it was more of a simplistic things. I feel like is more complicated. All I had to do with the wall was put on some videos and build the same thing over and over. I did do the cliff, another cliff, which I think the ground around that still needs to be fixed. There's a lot of small details around the newer things. So from up here, like from far away, it looks alright. I'm just not a fan of it up close, which is why I think when it's not just this, I will like it up close. I'm hoping. So I'm going to figure out a way to transition from this into the second floor, and then I'll be back with that. And we'll start building that, and it's onto the roof, which always takes me forever, but yeah, that should be good. Oh, I missed this. Whoops. I really thought I got all of them. That's why it looked bad. Yeah, no, that's not why. Alright. Alright, I thought it was going to actually take me a while to figure out what I wanted to do, but I was looking at some Google images of kind of like mid-19th and 18th century Victorian buildings, which is kind of the theme I want to go with for the bulk of the city here. And I thought it was going to take me a while to figure out how I wanted to transition into the second floor, but looking at some pictures, some reference images, I think I've got an idea. Because, I mean, you know, if you think about that style of architecture, it's very Typically there is a foundation, which is what I'm going with here, most times. And then the rest of it is very, like, ornate and fancy and over the top, you could say. Pointy roofs, a lot of accents on everything. So this is kind of going to be an accent. We can go here. Every once in a while do that. Let's see. Yeah, and that's a different color than all three of those, so I think that could work. I'm going to wait to do that until I've got the second floor, because I might want to put a little bit up on the second floor, but I do like that. Hopefully that will work. I've just got to figure out how to get up there. Guess what do we use? Tough can be our staircase block. Why not? I don't want to waste rockets just to get up here. I think we just put it on this thing. I don't want to get too fancy here. Because if you get too complicated with something too early, that's what can really mess you up, and I think that's where I was maybe going wrong. The best thing, I think, to do is get the main outline first, which, I mean, this is going to look kind of ugly, but it is just getting the main outline here. It is going to be a gray box under a reddish-brown box for a little while, but eventually it'll not look like that. Hopefully. That's the idea. And I am about to run out of terracotta. Yeah. Alright. So, I will be back when we're maybe ready to do some of the detailing. And spend some time with that. And I may even try and do the roof before I do any detailing, because that way I can know where the roof's gonna go before I do anything. I think that might be a good idea. Yeah, I'll see you then. Okay, so yeah, I quickly mocked this up, and while it does look like a messed up ice cream sandwich right now, we are going to work some magic on this thing. It's a little hard to reach from down here. You know, I really wish the crab had won that mob vote however many years ago instead of the armadillo. I would much rather have longer reach than dog armor. I don't even remember. I don't like the armadillo. It's just there. I'm sharing a lot of my opinions on updates this episode, I think. I just feel like the crab would have been better. But it did not win, so oh well. Double click strikes again. Alright. Now I'm not sure how that will look. It's weird. It looks bugged on that upper one. Yeah, the polished blocks always look weird as half slabs, I feel like. Maybe I do... What if I add in some stairs as well? Yeah, I think that's what we do. We double up on the slabs in some parts, and then have stairs on the bottom of the part that's doubled up. And I think that could be good. But then it would basically just be a block. It would just be a block. Let me see. Let's just make all of these polished stairs. Nope. Okay, I need to clean this up. I'm not working on the roof for a little bit. I'm planning on mixing in some mud, and then maybe the roof will look a little textured. I don't think we're going to use bricks. I think it's just going to be granite and terracotta. The bricks, I don't know. Okay. So, what I'm thinking is that we take this. Alright. So, the edges, we do that. Alright. And then we do that. Wait. That's perfect. Yes. Yes, I think that's it. Okay. Let's see how this looks across the whole top. And I'm doing this first before any windows because this, once this is done, we'll know where to put the windows and the door. So don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that. And oh, it's perfect. Lines up well with this side. All right, is that good? That needs to be thicker. Okay. I do like the alternation, but it does need to be thicker. Let's see. Would just getting walls or bars work? How many iron bars do I have? None? Okay, good to know. You know what? Quick trip to my stronghold could remedy that. I don't know. I'm gonna get the iron bars, but I think the andesite itself just needs to be thicker too. Well, I'll be back when we are ready to do some more of that detailing. Hopefully, yeah, no, this should be red portal. I always mix them up. Alright, I've been experimenting here with the outside, and I'm pretty happy with it. Eat. The top obviously looks very awkward still. I think there's, I mean, obviously, it's not the final product. Really? Right as I start recording again. It always happens that way. Okay. Rain looks so ugly ever since they added this, like, fog thing. It's so bad. It's gross. So the gradient, it hasn't really changed much, but I think with with the, I guess kind of molding here, it helps to make it look a lot better because I think the wool was what was making it awkward. Because I just didn't place the wool very strategically, I guess. But I'm pretty happy with how the deep slate and tough work together, so a lot of the wool being hidden by this andesite molding does help it kind of look better for me. So I'm pretty happy with how it is on the outside. We could change it in the future if we need to, but I think it's pretty good. Here is where the entrance is going to go, and I want to make it larger than it was. I just think, you know, with the foundation, it kind of deserves maybe a bit of a doorstep. So I'm not sure how we do that. There's obviously not going to be any stairs, so I guess we just kind of go up from here and then make it a little door frame. So we might have to change what's going on up here to fit that. Maybe get rid of those. We'll see. I don't know if I want to do it with andesite. We can... I mean, let's try it. So, like, what if we just do kind of like that? That's, that's not it. Maybe there's nothing on the ground. What if we just go kind of up here? It's too heavy. Maybe we don't. I feel like... Let's get rid of that. I mean, how can we do this? Let's get some wood. I want to kind of inlay the door. Maybe jungle? Jungle could work. Spruce could also work, but... you know what? Let's go with spruce. Because I think it'll be a nice darker tone. The jungle would be too similar to what we're doing on the second layer. And I think having this nice little contrast color could really be nice. Now we kind of need a frame around that. Don't we? What if I set it back one? I don't know, because then don't we kind of have to make this whole inside spruce, which doesn't really work for me. There is enough room to make the inside a different block, now that I've done that, but I don't think I want it to be spruce if I do that. That looks good. I don't hate this. Okay, you know what? I don't know. I'm not sure what to do with the door. I thought it was going to be easy, but I'm not sure now. Okay, we will leave the door. I mean, we know it's going to go there. Now I want to kind of figure out windows. I'm going to do stuff with those too. So... like I had it before, I want this to be kind of a bar. But there's not going to be a house upstairs here, and we're not separating the two. I think that separation where I had two buildings in the same, like, building, it didn't really work. It was kind of just hindering what I wanted to do. So we're not doing that anymore. This whole area is going to be the bar this back area I want for kind of like storage of like, you know, beer kegs and stuff like that, so we can have a bunch of shelves back here with maybe some barrels. We can get it looking nice and gloomy in there. And then out here is going to be the main pub, which I think we're gonna change the floor here for sure. Let's see. So if this is back here, I think maybe like the bar is there, right? Yeah, what if we could do that, where like you have to go behind the bar to even get in here, because that makes sense. You'd only have employees back here. Who would you, what kind of, thinking. Okay, and then, so if we have all this space for kind of drinks and stuff, we can then go upstairs, kind of like, I don't know, up here or something. That's, yeah, probably not where I'm going to put it, but if we have a staircase up here, then there's a second floor. And I think that could work. But yeah, my reason for building this city is so I can put villagers in each one of these houses. But I'm realizing, what kind of villager do I put in a pub? There's no brewer. There's clerics, I guess. You could put down a brewing stand. That could work. I'm not sure. Who knows? Alright, well, we've got the inside kind of sorted out, like, layout-wise. So I think I will be back when we're ready to work on the second layer here. So I'll have... Oh wait, no. I'm not done here. I was doing this so I could figure out the windows. Man. Forget things sometimes. So, let me look in this alley back here. Okay. I want to do a fireplace somewhere, because I think that could give it a very nice, warm feeling. And I think it makes the most sense to do it out here, because there's just more room. So, we want it to be nice and big. I think that's good. Nice, like, 5 wide. Maybe we put it a little closer to the door. About right in between. I think that could work. We might move it. So obviously if we have one here, there's not going to be any windows here. We could have a nice window on this, like on the inside here. I think like that. Yeah, and then, do we stick with the andesite? It's so much gray. I think it could be better. No, I think we should do wood, for the windows, because that's probably what I'll do up top as well. Could do wood and andesite. Because I want it to have like a kind of heavy feeling. Thank God the rain is gone. Look, you can actually see things now. So I want there to still kind of be a heavy feeling. So maybe we go like that and then do something on top. We might have to again move that for, and then we put like wood trapdoors as shutters, and that will help break up the gray, maybe. Because the andesite is like obviously much lighter than the gradient I have going on. other than the wool, but still a different gray. So it also works to break up the color, but I think some wood could also go a long way. I think we could definitely have some windows in the cellar back here. Maybe up high. So like if we're gonna have shelves along this wall and this wall, maybe we put one like above the shelf right here. Right there. That is I don't know. We'll work on that. But maybe we just have two like tiny little windows and they're just there. And then back here, most of this is going to be covered up, but then maybe we put like those two. That lets some light in. And then I think a staircase would actually work better along this wall up here. So we give like 2 and then boom, we go up. I think that works well. So that way we can have a nice row of windows along this side. Although, right, we are right next to a building. Shoot. Well, that doesn't... I mean, maybe not having very many windows actually kind of works. Because it could give it more of a gloomy feeling down... Oh, wait. No, this actually could go very well, because it'll give it a gloomy feeling down in the lower level. But then when you come up here, it could be a lot brighter and have more windows. So I think that could work. We'll work with that. And obviously I'm going to make this less flat. In fact, that's where the fireplace is gonna go. So we're gonna have like, I think probably a granite or maybe brick column that extends all the way up. And then maybe we may have to figure out a way to morph that into deep slate. Yeah, deep slate is hard for the roof, I think. And also, it's not... The plan is, I want to move the deep slate out a block, and then we kind of have like a 3-block indent there instead of 2, and that can give us like a row, like kind of a line of windows all around that top layer. I saw that in some old late Victorian apartment complexes, like, you know, these old brick city buildings, that I'm kind of trying to capture here with this. I kind of saw that, and I want to see if I can recreate that. Man, it's difficult. I'm not used to this style of building, so I think it's very good to practice it, because most of what I've built just kind of looks exactly like that house, but with different colors. So I think it's good to branch out like this. And honestly, even that was branching out, but it was a lot easier than this. For some reason, because I feel like it's just more similar to that still. But this is a lot more rigid, a lot more sturdy. And honestly, instead of wood, I might go for some sort of stone block. So I'm gonna stop talking now and actually get to work on this, and then I'll come back when I think we've got some things finished. Okay, I'm getting some things for a staircase real quick, because we are Well, we're gonna get that second story set up on the inside first, and then we can know where to put the windows, and that'll help us do the exterior. So, shelf. I really like the shelves as detailing blocks. So I want to fit them in, because obviously, originally, I think, way back at the start of this episode, I had, dark oak shelves out front, over there where the entrance used to be. And I really liked that for an arch. So that is definitely going to come back. Okay, I haven't forgotten that method of using them. I really want to use them for building arches. It just didn't fit what I wanted with this build. I decided. So what? It's the middle of the day? Where did you come from? Guess I need to light this place up. Yeah, I guess I didn't ever replace the torch spam that I got rid of. But, I haven't actually mentioned it yet. I really like how the floor, kind of tied everything together here. And I think I'll just place the ceiling here. I really think, I don't know why, but the walls just instantly looked 10 times better when I put spruce in. I think probably just because it helps contrast it, so the gray looks a lot nicer when there's not as much gray around it. I think it looks really nice on the inside, and hopefully it will continue to once we get some of the more intricate interior detailing in. And then up here, instead of doing the log checkerboard that I like to do sometimes, we are just going to do regular spruce planks to keep the color going, but just to give it a little bit of a difference. And yeah, that should be good. I don't know why, but every time I think of flooring blocks, I keep thinking of these really nice blocks that were in a mod pack I used to play. I was like, oh, I could use those. But I can't, because they're not in the game. I don't know why they always come up when I'm thinking of flooring blocks. Because I haven't played that mod pack in years, actually. So, that's odd. And I always get disappointed when I realize that. Because their mod packs have some pretty good building blocks, honestly. Because a lot of mod packs will put in, like, specifically build-oriented mods, where they just add a bunch of different variants of, like, wood and stone blocks, and it can be nice to have the choices, and there's a lot of interesting textures that just aren't there in vanilla Minecraft, so it can be really interesting to see those for building, but it's also extremely overwhelming because it adds, like, 10 times as many blocks to the game, which is why I think, like, vanilla Minecraft doesn't have 50 variants of each block, because that would get overwhelming, and that would also just add to the storage problems that people have, because for a while there's been an inventory management complaint among people, which I understand. I mean, look at mine right now. It's very bad. And bundles did actually help alleviate that. Bundles are very useful for early game and such, or when your inventory is just cluttered with a bunch of little singular items. So that's very good. That was a nice change, but there's still problems, you know? And while mods have a bunch of quality of life things and building things, I think it's good that a lot of features from mods also aren't in the game, because it just wouldn't feel the same. And I mean, a lot of stuff we have now used to only be in mods, like chains, or lanterns, or some of the variants of blocks that we do have now that we didn't used to have. But I don't know. I mean, I would welcome added variants, but I think the reason they don't add too many is because it would be very overwhelming. Because honestly, when I've tried building in a mod pack, also, oh, whoops. When I've tried building in a mod pack, I don't know where to start. There's just too much to think about with all the different blocks. So I think, you know, there's already so many in the game, like over just hundreds. At this point, where did my sword? No. There's just too many to keep track of already, honestly. Sometimes I forget about blocks that could look really good in something, and so, you know, I think it's good to add things more slowly. But the extra tough variants that came out along with the trial chambers were very good. That I did like that, because tough felt a little left out. So I actually don't like that. Okay. Yeah, I added in smooth stone slabs on the molding that we did, because I thought, you know, I'm gonna try and change up the colors a little bit, and it worked really well. I really like the smooth stone there. And I also like it on the windows. I don't know why. The windows look a little weird, but I kind of like it. I did not like it there, though, so I just thought I would see what it looked like. But I think it looks good as andesite on the door there. Now, let me put this stuff away. I need a chest for the special arrows, because I'm running out of room for normal arrows, you know? I'm honestly just running out of room in general. When I made a storage room this big, I did not think I would ever run out of room in it, but I have very few extra chests left. There's 3 here, like 2 there. The only big chunk that's left really is right here, and that is likely going to be filled up by more chests. Like, this row is probably going to be filled up by excess from all of these blocks. Like, I might add 2 full block chests like I kind of have over here. So that row's probably going to be filled up, and then we only kind of really have that, which is probably going to be filled up by redstone stuff as I get more of that. Yeah. So I may have to expand at some point, which I don't even, like, I would probably just dig down and add another chest chamber. I don't even know how I would do that. Alright. So, this is very reddish brown. I think we can fix this. So, let's start by doing this. And we're only going to gradient this about 2 blocks, because with the indent we're going to do polished granite and bricks, I think, which I think will be enough of a difference from the normal granite and the terracotta that we'll have down here. So, crap. I did not mean to let that fall. Oh man, I can tell this episode is running on a bit long. There's been so many things that I had to, like, reiterate and change that, I mean, it's nearly been a month since I actually wanted to get the episode out, first of all. And second of all, it's gonna be a long one. Like, I really didn't want this to be a long one, but I think it's getting up there. So I've got to finish this up quick. You know, I could just leave the roof unfinished. I do seem to be building that reputation. I mean, the roof over there is still broken, which our first 2 buildings, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I've already mentioned I might remove them altogether. I mean, that house over there is the first thing I ever built in this world, so I would like to keep it. but it's in the way of what I want to do. And, you know, I really should have been more deliberate, I guess, when I was starting out. But when I was starting out, I don't know if I was planning to, like, build something this large, like this whole city that is going to kind of start expanding here soon. And yeah, I think that'll look good when we kind of gradient it up. Yeah, I might have to remove that altogether, honestly. But yeah, like I said, the video is running long, so I'm going to try and keep these next few clips short. So I'll just be back when the gradient's done, we've got some windows in, and we can quickly finish up the roof. And that should be good. So yeah. Alright, sorry, that probably made a noise. I didn't realize my microphone wasn't where it usually is. I've been working on this, and it's finally done. I got the roof looking alright, I think. You know, it's not like 100% perfect yet. I think there are some things that I could always tweak, but for the most part, I am pretty happy with this. I have a stack and a half of mangrove fence gates that I was gonna use, and then didn't end up liking the look of on the roof. So yeah, those I just have those now, like a lot of other things. But I really like how it looks up on the second floor. It is honestly exactly the look I was going for. One time, a little while ago, I traveled to Scotland, or, well, yeah, no, I did, but I'm actually thinking of Chicago. In Chicago, there are some old factory buildings that are still present from, like, the 1800s, and early 1900s, that kind of have this very similar look. They're big, sturdy brick buildings with this pointy, kind of Victorian-esque architectural style, and that is what I was trying to get at, and I think I was able to do it. Now, obviously, from the beginning, I was kind of thinking, oh, well, I want to go with this sort of medieval fantasy kind of thing. I think this is very far from that. This is definitely not fantasy or medieval. So I think I, at some point, ended up swinging more towards a more realistic kind of industrial architecture style, which I don't mind because I like kind of exploring this style, and hopefully I can make this, like, just add some finishing touches to this building for next time because I'm, like, mostly happy with it, but obviously I still need to add some more windows and get the front looking better. There's some things around the base that we could add to, I think. But for the most part, I am very happy with things. And, of course, we'll have to move these layouts just a little bit, because I want to add this kind of molding to most of the buildings in the city, and obviously if they're this close to each other, they're gonna touch each other, which is not what I want. So we'll move those, but next time we are not working up here. We are actually going to be working over here, and you can see the outline of what I am kind of planning. If you can guess what that could mean, I'll leave that up to you. And that's what we're going to work on next time. But for now, thank you for watching. This was a really tough building to make, but I'm glad that I didn't stop until I was pretty satisfied with it. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of whatever.